Now, if you're looking for a job, have you tried your local pub, restaurant or bar? The staff shortages in hospitality are so bad that some businesses say they don't have enough staff even to operate. UK Hospitality, the body that represents the industry, says 9% of jobs are currently vacant. That's a shortage of more than 188,000 workers. There are lots of reasons for it. Some bar and restaurant staff are still on furlough, more than 1 million EU workers have left the UK, and some training courses have been disrupted. But in some places there is an additional problem. Workers can't find anywhere affordable to live. Here are two members of staff at Red Hotels in Cornwall.
My name's John Phillips. I'm the front of house manager for Red Hotels Limited.
My name is Nikola Kubečková. I work as payroll administrator.
I moved to Cornwall at the end of last October, and I found a lovely apartment in Newquay, which I started renting on the 1st of January. But then unfortunately on the 1st of April I had a letter saying that they had decided to end the tenancy, and when I actually spoke to the owner, he just said, look John, you're paying me £800 a month for this one bedroom apartment, and I've just found out that pretty much as of the 1st of May I can be charging people £1,200 a week for this apartment.
I'm from the Czech Republic. I went to the staff accommodation at first, then we moved with my partner to one cottage, thanks to our English teacher who was very helpful. That was back in 2014-15. It changed a lot since then. 3 months ago, we had to move from our cottage. They wanted the property back, and that was really difficult to find a place. Yeah, very difficult.
The bottom line is you just cannot find anywhere to rent in the Newquay area at the moment. If you do go for a property, there are more than 30 people going for it. When you get to the point of being accepted, they then turn around to you and say, well, actually, we've added another couple £100 to the monthly rent. Or they may even turn around and say, we want you to pay 6 months rent in advance. Otherwise, we'll go to the next person.
We were really lucky because our landlord's son had a property, so basically we moved into his property. It's 1-bedroom apartment, it's very close to the centre of Newquay, the price is okay.
You're in a bidding war that unfortunately is becoming incredibly debilitating to people. I actually took the decision to step out of that bidding war. I'm rather lucky because I do own a boat which I've sailed down from where I relocated in Wales, and I'm now living on my boat so that I can at least carry on working in Cornwall. But what does anyone else do?
It's Jonathan Phillips, the front of house manager, and Nikola Kubečková, who's a payroll administrator. Emma Stratton is the owner of the hotels where they work. Emma, how has this business then of affordable accommodation affected you as a hotel owner?
I think it's been a problem for tourism, beautiful tourism destinations for a long time, whether it's the Lake District or Cornwall or Devon or, any number of places. I think it's become particularly difficult more recently because a lot of people are opting to put their single rooms or their annexes onto Airbnb. And that means that there's much less than accommodation than normal. And we've had people who've accepted employment offers with us and then haven't been able to find accommodation, though we're very lucky, and actually we have quite a lot of team accommodation ourselves, so we're able to offer rooms with a lot of our positions, and that's certainly what we're able to do now. Is we've got that accommodation ready for our key people, but a lot of businesses just don't have that, and I think the wider problem is that it's not making living in places like Cornwall very easy for local people, and that seems to be causing growing resentment in communities because the children who have grown up here can't stay here, they can't find accommodation, and yet we know that from a planning point of view, there's been enough planning permissions passed in Cornwall for the houses that are needed by the county, and yet the developers are just sitting on the land.
If you're not paying enough for people to live locally, will wages inevitably have to rise to get to attract the workers you need?
Well, I think that this is a conversation that the country has. I mean, we're really proud as a business that we pay the real living wage, so that's a minimum of £9.50 an hour, whether you join us at 16 or at any age. And our team, it's just been a very tight situation recently because nobody's going abroad and therefore accommodation is in demand right now. But I think that it's about committing to the long-term affordability for all of our workers in the UK. The pandemic has really given us a chance to revalue our roles and what we care about. And we can see that these roles that require empathy and emotional intelligence and the care of others, whether you're cleaning a hospital or working in a care home, we need to value them more. And I think that in the medium term, we've got to have a public conversation about how we find enough people to fulfill these roles in our society, because I'm not sure that there are enough people in those sectors, but also how we pay them fairly. Nobody should have to work in more than one job to make ends meet.
Well, let me bring Kate Nichols in, because she's the Chief Executive of UK Hospitality. Kate, is this a problem you're seeing right across the UK, that people who want to work in hotels and bars can't afford to live in the places?
I think, as Emma said, it's particularly acute in some of our most beautiful tourist destinations. It's by no means common across the whole of the UK for hospitality, but certainly the pressure on accommodation is intense, and more intense this year in parts of the country that are disproportionately tourism based, where there's a greater tendency to put that accommodation to paying guests to take advantage of the opportunities that the anticipated staycation boom affords this summer.
No, she's paying more than the national living wage. They are paying what they call the real living wage, at least $9.50 an hour, even if you're only 16. Will everyone across the sector have to do that?
Well, we are starting to see wage rate inflation coming through in certain parts of the country and in certain roles where people are returning and the local labour market does need to have higher wages in order to attract the staff to those roles. So we are seeing wage rate inflation coming through across the sector. That's feeding through into customer prices, and there will be an inflationary impact over time. But as I say, the reasons for staff shortages are different across different parts of the country. And we've always had in hospitality local labour markets that fuel wages in certain parts.
Could I ask you, Kate, briefly, I know you want the government to help out with this. How?
Well, I think there's several things that the government can do to help with the staff shortage. I've got about 30 seconds. We need to build confidence into the sector, that the sector is open, that we're trading, that we've lifted the restrictions to allow these businesses to return to profitability, to invest in their teams, in their training. And we need the government to get behind communicating hospitality as a career of choice with good progression opportunities for people who want to come and build a career in our sector.
Kate Nichols from UK Hospitality, Emma Stratton from the Scarlet and Bedruthen Hotels in Cornwall. Thank you.